That's Jaleel Shaw, a veteran of the New York jazz scene, performing with the Dave Holland New Quartet at the Nice Jazz Festival in my hometown. We got together for a great conversation before the gig where he shares some of the things he's learned touring with some of the legends of jazz music around the world. Who are some of the notable musicians you've toured with?
Roy Haynes, Tom Harrell, now Dave Holland, Nate Smith.
I bet you got a
biggest big band.
I bet you got a good Roy Haynes story.
The Roy Haynes stories that I can think of are the stories that he's told me, about being out on the road, or just little anecdotes. Just things that he's learned from some musicians. One that he told me, we happened to be having dinner, and this is one honestly that's always stayed with me. We were having dinner once, and John Coltrane came on the radio, and Roy kind of paused and was listening, nodding his head, and he said, "There's two saxophonists I can play anything behind. It's John Coltrane and Charlie Parker." And he said, their sense of time and their sense of rhythm was so strong, and he told me it's just that pulse, that beat, it's there within them. And that's always something that he's always said on the stage, that you gotta have the beat within you, He said those two guys, he said I could play anything behind them, it didn't matter. They always had the pulse. And that, it was one of those moments where, of course, I've had teachers tell me, work on your time, think about time. But him saying, I can play like that behind Charlie Parker and behind John Coltrane. It's just like, the light bulbs go off. And I actually started going back and listening to more of him playing with John Coltrane. In particular, a record that he did at Newport Jazz Festival in '63. And they play Impressions. And they break it down to just a duo with Train and Roy. And sure enough, Roy's really opening up time. Train is right there. And then I listened to Live at St. Nick, Bird with Roy Haynes. It's the same thing. The flexibility and at the same time, the pulse. That really, that was just stable and just strong. Just a very strong sense of time. Another thing with Roy, Roy is just, Roy has always, to me, seemed like a just superhuman person. Because being on the road, I always felt like he didn't get as much jet lag as we did when we were on the road. In particular, I remember going to Japan, and usually when I go to Japan, the first 2 or 3 days, I'm pretty much out of it, And I remember we played at the Blue Note, Tokyo, and after the gig, the three of us, the pianist, the bassist, and myself, we're wiped out. We're ready to go back to the hotel. Blue Note clears the club. Roy goes back on the drums, starts playing some more. And I guess he's talking to there were some people that had come see him that he had been talking to about something. But Roy played some more. And I started realizing more and more when we were out on the road, he just had this energy, this everlasting energy. And he could hang, And this is Roy in his 80s, mid to late 80s, had all this energy. I think that's something that really, really, really stayed with me, something that I always think about, especially when I'm touring. Even though I can't hang like that. I definitely need to get my rest. But Roy is superhuman to me. Roy was serious about tuning his drums. I've never seen anyone tune their drums. Roy would always get to the club. He would always want to go to the club at least an hour and a half before we did, just to set up his drums. And most of the time we would get there an hour and a half after him, and he wouldn't be ready yet. He was seriously serious about tuning his drums, which I thought was very special. Tom Harrell, I know Tom Harrell one thing that I saw with Tom is that he was always writing on the road. Whenever we were in the car, we would be at the airport waiting for a plane. He would have these notebooks that he would carry around. He would just be writing. I mean, writing new tunes. Sometimes writing out charts, but for the most part, I will always see him writing out new music. And it was constant. It was every day, and I thought that was that was special. That was special. It was very inspiring too. Very inspiring. He kept his mind going, and he was always creating something new. Dave, the thing that I'm learning about Dave, he's just really he's in the music, and it's been a great 3 weeks playing with Dave. The music is just growing so like rapidly, and he's always into trying. We can throw out ideas, and Dave's like, okay, let's try this like this, and we'll try new things at the sound check, or he'll try things at the during the gig. That's been inspiring as well. And Dave practices. He's practicing everything.
I saw that he's got that small bass, so that's like his instrument. He takes that on the road with him, and so he could shed. Yeah. So I was thinking like, there must be something special so that he can travel easier with it.
Yeah, it's a lot easier. In fact, I think we were just talking about that today. He said it's almost impossible to travel with his regular bass now. But that bass is, and unfortunately, the guy that makes it kind of stopped making them, hopefully temporarily. But that bass is half the weight of the regular bass. Yeah. So it's perfect, and it's great for when we're flying, because first thing they're always asking is how much does it weigh. And when they learn that it's standard weight, then it really helps us.
And he's got a special case for it, I guess.
He's got a special case.
Yeah. He's got to detune it every time and like set it up all over again.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure how much detuning he does, but I feel like it doesn't take him a long time to tune up. Or maybe I'm not aware.
I remember traveling with double bass players, and they always would take the bridge off.
Yeah. I don't think this bridge comes. No, this bridge doesn't come off.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. I traveled with Christian McBride, and he has one that comes off actually. So the case is a little bit smaller, but those basses sound great.
Yeah,
they really sound great.
Yeah, the sound check sounded great. I'm really looking forward to the concert tonight.
Yeah, I'm looking forward too.
And maybe you could talk about this when you're traveling and playing this music all over the world, whether it's in Asia or in Europe. I find it just fascinating, the connections that you can make with people through the music.
Yes, absolutely. For me, I think that's what I enjoy the most, especially when you go to places where a lot of people can't communicate otherwise. You communicate through the music, and there's an energy, and there's something in the air that you can feel. I mean, you can look in their faces from the audience and see how they're feeling about the music, but there's a connection that's being made, when you're playing, and I think that's what I love about what I do, is that I'm able to go around the world and play this music and hopefully, touch some lives, uplift the people. And it's great to see how the response to Dave too, because all over the world, at least all the places we've been, he has a huge audience, and people really love him. People run to the stage sometimes during sound check and ask for autographs, and and they have all the recordings, and that's been really great. That's been really great.
And do you have a favorite, like this tour or maybe another tour? Do you have a favorite spot or a favorite festival or anything that stands out in particular?
The funny thing is, I'm trying to think of what festivals I like. This year I didn't hang at the North Sea Festival because we didn't go on until like 10:30. And I figured if I went to hang out earlier and went to check out all this music, by the time I got to my set, I'd be tired. So I actually stayed in my hotel room until it was time to leave. But I really enjoy the North Sea Festival. They have a wide range of great music, and I get to see a lot of my friends, perform that I don't usually get to see sometimes. I like playing in Japan. I like playing at the Blue Note, Tokyo. That's a fun place to play. This is I believe it's my third time playing in Nice, and it was a different stage before. I think it was more open to the public before last time we played. But I'm looking forward to this festival.
Yeah, that would have been a while back. So that would have been the last time I think they did it in Cimier, with the Roman ruins and everything. That was, I think, 2009.
Yeah, probably around that time. Yeah.
Do you know what year it was?
I don't remember.
I actually played that festival in 2008.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I definitely remember it was an open stage.
Was it the one in the arena, in like the?
It wasn't in an arena.
Okay, and then there's another. There was 3 stages.
Okay.
There, now there's only 2, but there used to be 3 stages, and there was one in like this big park with all the olive trees, and people would like just sit on the ground.
Maybe
in front of that one, and then there was another one with the museum behind, the big red or like pink, like fuchsia colored building behind. Those are the 3 stages.
No, I don't. No,
It was beautiful, that festival. I'm one of the people that it's cool here. It's more commercialized. It's more like,
There wasn't like a wall around it before. I don't remember there being a wall.
Yeah, I mean they kind of had it closed off, so you had to have a ticket to get in. But it was, we used to like sneak in and it was more. It wasn't like it is now.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of other places that I like to play. We just played in Indonesia. I played there about a month and a half ago with Nate at the Java.
So yeah.
Yeah, that was nice too. I was only there for like a day and a half and didn't really get to hang at the festival much, but it had like a North Sea vibe.
Oh yeah.
Oh
wow.
Where there was a lot of different acts, a lot of different rooms, and I saw a lot of my friends there were playing there at the same time.
And so, what's the jazz? Like the jazz culture in Indonesia? Is it similar to anywhere else?
No. What's interesting is that I know they have some great musicians from there. There's Joey Alexander.
He's from there.
He's from there.
Okay.
So I actually just recorded a couple songs with him a couple years ago, like during the pandemic. And that was my first time really meeting him. But he's from there. And when I was at Berkeley, there were a few students from Indonesia. And I think it's still there playing. So they definitely have a scene.
So tell me about maybe some other projects you got going. So has this project with Joey Alexander, is that been released yet?
It's
out. Okay.
It's like 3 singles. I don't remember the names of the songs, but I think I did 3 singles with him that came out on Verve. And I have an album coming out either the end of this year or next year with my quartet.
Okay.
A couple guests. And I'm trying to think of some more. Duduzo Makatini, South African pianist. I'm on his latest album. It's on Blue Note. It's called In the Spirit of Two, I think. I'm on the latest Nate Smith album that came out maybe a couple years ago now. Since the pandemic, my sense of time, it's like, I don't.
Yeah, because the last time we talked was during the pandemic.
Yeah, that was online.
And the first time we talked was just before it.
Before. That was one of my last gigs.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was like a week before, and I got back here after that, and the next day everything
shut down. Yeah.
I mean, I got back here by the skin of my teeth.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So it's like this 3 different times, right? Before the pandemic, during.
Yeah.
And now we're in this zone, like, okay, festivals are back, recordings, everything's kind of back to normal, but some things have kind of changed forever.
Well, Honestly, for me, I feel like I'm working probably more than I have in a long time. The past couple of years, I've been out a lot, and I'm really thankful for that because during the pandemic, there was a high level of uncertainty.
Sure.
I didn't know what was happening.
And that's something, I've talked to a lot of people about that. Like this period afterwards
Like a surge.
is a surge, and now it's been going for a couple of years. Now we're into
Yeah.
like the second year of this, concerts, festivals, touring, recording dates. It's just full on, because I'm trying to schedule things with people, and it's just everyone is booked. Like I can't.
Yeah.
There's no time. Whereas during the pandemic, it was like, sure,
I'm just home. I mean, I did that solo album when I was, sitting in the house, But now, as soon as I was able to get a group together and go in the studio, I booked the time, and things are, I feel like things are moving. I think people also realize how much they appreciate it, being able to get together and going to listen to music.
For sure.
And how important music is. I remember the first concert I actually watched was online. It was Billy Hart's quartet with Mark Turner and Ethan Iverson and Ben Street. And it was the first time I was seeing live performance since the pandemic hit. I mean, this was from my room. This is from my apartment. But it hit me. Like I got a little emotional because I'm thinking like, wow, man, I didn't realize how much I missed this, And it was live, and I wasn't there, but it was live. It was just a emotional moment for me, and I just realized how much I can't wait to not only play, but just be able myself to go out and listen to other people play live in person.
Yeah, man. Listen, I'm really looking forward to the concert tonight. I heard the sound check sounded like, oh, that's gonna be good. And you're just like, I mean, I know it's like Dave Hall's band, but you're like the up in front kind of.
Thanks. Well, we all are, and the great thing about this band also is that we're bringing our own compositions too.
Okay.
So you probably heard the up-tempo song "Flip Side."
Is that yours?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I love it.
Yeah.
Great.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're playing one of my compositions, one of Chris Davis's compositions, and one of Nasheed's.
Okay, so everybody's got some tunes in there.
Yeah.
Great. So it's real collaborative.
Yeah. And then we play Norway after this, and then we go play Newport, and hopefully, we'll have some more stuff soon. Yeah.
Listen, thanks for taking the time.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. And it was great hanging this afternoon and talking the saxophone stuff.
We still got to get the ice cream.
We're going to get olive oil ice cream.
Olive oil ice cream.
Olive oil ice cream.